Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching, whatever time you're listening. Welcome to Your Onion Podcast. I would like to welcome our guest today. His name is Olu Bamidele.
Very good, very well pronounced.
Thank you very much. I've been practicing. Well, I've known you for a while, so hopefully I would have got your name right.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, Olu, like with all my guests, I like to throw it over to you, and if you could give us a little bit of an insight on, a little bit of your education and, how you ended up here in Qatar.
Sure. Education-wise, you probably guessed from my accent, I'm from the UK. I'm actually a Londoner. So, born and bred in London, and I went to school in the East End of London. Comprehensive, as we call it, over there, and from there went on to university, the University of Kent at Canterbury, UKC.
So, all right, go ahead. I just want to cut in. Right. So, where were you living in London?
In the London borough of Newham. I was born in West Ham. And
is that who you support, West Ham?
No, I'm an Arsenal fan.
Okay.
From the age of 5, big Arsenal fan. Always been a bit of a rebel, so I wasn't going to follow the team.
Follow the norm.
No, follow the norm. Yeah, do something different. Do it differently. Grew up in the East End of London, so not quite a Cockney, because that's a very specific part of London you need to be born in to be a Cockney.
I thought that was just London in general.
Yeah,
I didn't realise that was...
do. A lot of people do think that.
A lot of people do. It's all right.
So the accent's going to come out at different times, Jude. Yeah. You need to be born within hearing distance of the Bow Bells.
The Bow Bells.
Yes.
Oh, is that a street?
That's it's actually a church.
Oh,
it's
really?
actually a church, which is St Mary's Le Bow, near very close to Bank Street, Bank Station on the Central Line.
Okay, I'm not very familiar with London, so
yeah.
Okay.
So your Cockneys out there will be able to tell you that.
So why University of Kent and why Canterbury?
Right,
and was that a bit of a shock coming from the East End to?
That kind of alludes to my passion for Arsenal Football Club, actually, because I could have gone to Liverpool University, which would have been probably more of a kind of university type experience. But I chose Kent because it was closer to London and I could go to watch Arsenal matches.
Oh, okay. So you are very, very passionate about Arsenal.
I was, very much so. I mean, obviously more so when I was younger. So I grew up and...
So what years were you... would you be watching them, in your childhood?
The years where we were particularly...
Was that Kenny Dalglish? No, that's Liverpool. That was...
Kenny Dalglish was playing at the time, but not for Arsenal.
No, but he was playing at the time. So Arsenal was very much made up of Irish players, weren't they?
Yes,
at that time.
Yeah, you're right. Very, very good.
No, I know.
First, I didn't know you knew your
football.
I
know I don't. But at the time as a kid, I had those football sticker books.
Sure.
And my main stickers were Liverpool, so I automatically kind of followed Liverpool. But also Liverpool were very predominant in the league and the European league at the time.
Absolutely,
with Dalglish.
Liverpool were winning everything.
Yeah.
At that time, Arsenal were winning nothing. I can't be.
But weren't they under Liverpool? Just under Liverpool around that time?
No,
Liverpool,
a bit later on. Yeah, a bit later on when I first started supporting them, which was, or say attending matches, which was late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah,
showing my age.
Yeah,
we weren't really doing very well at all.
Okay.
We did a Irish contingent in our playing staff. Liam Brady was our most famous player of that era. Frank Stapleton as well.
That's right. Yeah.
David O'Leary, those players we had, and we were coming out of a period of success and weren't doing very well in sort of early 80s, right up until the later 80s when we were challenging Liverpool more so.
Oh, and Ipswich as well. Ipswich were very dominant with
with Bobby
Mickey
Robson
Mills.
in charge, Mick Mills. Yeah. Well, so your Panini stickers obviously came in useful.
Yeah.
We weren't for most of my kind of like childhood, if you like. We weren't being that successful, and certainly at the time when I went to university, which was 1983, we weren't doing particularly well at all.
No.
And then as I was leaving, we started to do better because we got George Graham as our manager, and then we started to challenge for the big trophies.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right, let's. We've kind of digressed into
done the football
with the football. So, what were you studying at University of Kent?
I did economics with economic and social history. It was a kind of dual degree, Bachelor of the Arts degree, and graduated with a 2-2. That was obviously due to the football I was attending in 1986.
Yeah.
And then my first job was with a Nationwide Building Society.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, why did you study? Was there something that you wanted to go in? Was it the banking?
No. I mean, as being born of Nigerian parents, British born of Nigerian parents, my father in particularly emphasised the importance of education. So that was the only route that was kind of open to me, even though my passion was football.
And could you not go into sports psychology? Was there nothing
I suppose it wasn't such a thing
University,
then, actually.
Was it?
It was, not such a big thing.
I know what you mean.
And it didn't particularly lead anywhere. And I wasn't really being guided in that direction anyway. It was like, do a proper degree, as my dad would have called it, and get a proper job.
Yeah.
So the footballing passions were put onto one side. I was actually asked to be a trialist at West Ham when I was 15.
Oh, really?
But that wasn't going to happen.
Because it was West Ham?
No, because it was my dad was never going to allow it.
No, I can relate to that. And there's a lot of people that have been on the show that can relate to that, where it's a lot of pressure from family to go and study certain degrees.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm the eldest.
Of how many?
Of 4.
Oh, wow.
The eldest son.
Yeah.
I've got 2 brothers and a sister. So it was very much down to me to set the path, if you like, be the example for the rest.
And what did the others do? I'm just curious of what the others...
Well, we all went to university.
Yeah.
And what degrees did we do? All kind of like more social science type degrees. What did my brother do? I'm trying to remember now. But we've kind of ended up in sort of admin, managerial, sales type jobs. My sister's probably the more creative one. She was at the end. Yes, she was the last one.
So she was the baby, and she was allowed to kind of do more creative kind of things, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And they were all my parents were quite happy that we'd managed to, survive and make something of ourselves. Yeah. So she was always going to kind of follow suit.
Yeah. So, all right. Because of the age you are, there's probably a lot that's happened from when you graduated and your first job. So shall we take a leap to just before you came here? What were you...
Yeah. So I actually spent... Well, in fact, it was quite pretty much... I said my first job was with Nationwide.
Yeah.
I stayed with them for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And I left there in 2007 and came to Qatar in 2012. So
you left them at 2007 and then you came here in 2012. What were you doing in between that?
Different jobs in the same kind of field.
Kind of finance?
Yeah, I worked for HSBC for a while.
Okay.
A company called Wesleyan, and also I did a short spell as an independent financial advisor. Yeah. So I'd always been in the kind of financial services field. But what significantly happened in 2007 that leads into what I'm doing at the moment was that I got into health and fitness as well as a kind of a sideline.
Have you always been into health and fitness, or was it something that you just realised that the years were passing by and now the time was to look after yourself?
Well, obviously I played football as a hobby. Yeah. Pretty much up until the age when my knees and injuries started to take their toll. So from that point of view, I'd always had an interest in health and fitness. And when I couldn't play football anymore, I was looking for other things to do to stay fit and healthy. And I started going to the gym and just doing what I thought was the right thing to do then. But in 2007, I took, that's when I left Nationwide, initially as a career break.
Yeah.
And just think, well, okay, what do I want to do now? I've been there 20 years and I wanted to kind of just see what else I could do with the next phase of my life. And if it meant going back into financial services, that would be okay. But I just wanted to explore and just see what other options were out there. And I did a course, a personal training course, as part of that, if you like, journey, as part of that break. And I did eventually go back into financial services with HSBC, but the difference then was that I was also doing a bit of work as a personal trainer.
Oh, okay, on the side.
On the side.
Okay.
So, that carried on, that kind of continued, always with HSBC. I joined the Wesley, and as I said, I did a spell as an IFA, but I was always doing the personal training on the side. So when I came here in 2012, it was actually as an IFA, actually, as a financial planner.
All right. Did you apply for a job here, or?
I was kind of, could say, enticed to come here and join one of the companies under the QFC, under the Qatar Financial Centre. So that's how I got
how you landed here.
How I landed here.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that the third day in the country, I actually had my first personal training client, and which was by
how did you do that? Did you sit down? Did you sit down with a potential financial client, and then you thought, hold on, you need a bit of work doing. So did you?
Not quite. It was. I actually answered a query that somebody had posted on Qatar Living, because as you come here, one of the things that you're told to as a financial planner is, try to source your own clients, try to find people that might be looking for the service. And Qatar Living was one of the things they had said, you could look for people that have posted queries or even put a little bit about yourself on there, and try to generate some interest that way. But I came across this post that someone had put with regards to getting fit and getting healthy. Yeah. And to cut a long story short, I answered that post. The person that posted it didn't show any interest at all in what I'd written, but somebody else saw.
Oh, okay.
And then got in touch with me via that post. Yeah. And I ended up training this young lady for a period of 8 months. So just by luck, fate, or whatever you want to call it, I ended up doing what I'd been doing in London. So that's working in the financial services industry, but doing personal training on the side. And nice. It literally just grew. What I do now kind of grew from that.
And when was the point where you thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do full time and give up the whole financial side of things?
2015.
Oh, really?
April 2015 to be exact.
And was it because of the demand?
Yes, basically. Yeah. And you know how Doha, Qatar works to a large degree in the expat community. It's a very small community. We were talking about that earlier today, actually. We were talking about there being 7 degrees of separation within the world between any person that you...
No, absolutely.
We say it's more like a half a degree of separation in Doha. So, of course, it just it built up and spread through referral and recommendation.
So no marketing needed, it was just word of mouth?
No, absolutely. None at that stage. I've gone into that in a small way of late with Instagram and Facebook, but up to then it was purely by word of mouth and recommendation.
Superb. That's the best way, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree.
So where are you at now with yourself?
Yeah, so I think I'd like to say I've built up a a decent kind of reputation in the fitness and health industry and market that's in Qatar. And I've got quite a few clients, a few testimonials. Like I say, there's the Instagram page, Facebook, and I'm now not just doing the niche that I work in, which is all about body transformation, losing body fat, toning up. But I've got a group of collaborators that we offer boxing, training. We do some martial arts, as well as the fitness.
So, is your philosophy? Is there an Olu Bamidele kind of philosophy about fitness and food and everything? And do these collaborators kind of follow the same kind of ethos? Yeah,
for sure. When it comes to, there's an additional personal trainer who works with me who totally follows the ethos that I use. The Muay Thai, the martial arts and the boxing are just to offer variety. Some clients that want something a little bit different to the core business that we're involved in. But certainly when it comes to body transformation, fat loss, toning, I think what I offer is very different. There are some similarities with some other players in the market here. But we very much emphasise the importance of nutrition. A lot of personal trainers will say that if you're looking to change how you look and transform your body, anything from 80% upwards is related to what you eat and to your nutrition. Fully agree with that. That's the message I put out there with my clients. So every one of my clients gets a nutrition plan to follow. And then the training itself is all designed to, it's basically focusing on what we know helps the body lose body fat and tone up. So it's not a bodybuilding program. It's not a program that's designed to get you fit to run a marathon or to do any of those kind of endurance, stamina-based routines. It's purely about body transformation.
Nice.
So the sessions are all resistance training, weight training based.
Yeah.
They're very fast paced. They're short in duration. And the thing that initially drew me to this, because I can't say this is my own invention, this is what I was learned and taught when I first got into the industry in the UK.
Yeah.
Working for a gym in London, or working with a gym in London. I actually went along as a client and liked it so much. They said to me, "Oh, you seem to get this and you seem to enjoy it. Would you consider being a trainer with us, doing our training course, etc., etc." So I agreed with that. It was around about the time I was looking for something new.
Yeah.
So it was perfect timing in that respect. So that's how I came into it and learnt about the, if you like, the principles of fat loss and toning in a short, very intensive session. So the sessions can be as short as 20 minutes.
Which, a lot of people would like.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than being in a gym for an hour.
Absolutely.
They want it quite quick and...
Yeah.
But also to see results. How quickly do people see results? Because a lot of people are very impatient these days.
For sure. Well, this was one of the things that really drew me to it, was that the whole program has been subject to a university research study, in which, of course, you have the control group and the study group. And what they found was the study program was actually to look at the results over 12 consecutive days of training, and also following the nutrition plan. So
12 consecutive days.
12 consecutive days.
That must be tough. 12,
Yeah. I've just done it on myself again as my start to the new year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why did you let it go near the end of last year?
One of the pitfalls of doing well is that a lot of trainers will tell you this, is that you don't get time to train yourself.
No, that's true, because you're training everyone else.
Training everybody else, you don't get time to train yourself. But yeah, one of the things that drew me to it was this university research study, the fact that it had been subject to that. And what they showed could be achieved, what they did achieve, was that with this 12 days, the average fat loss was 7.5 pounds, which is about 3.4 kilos in 12 days, and the average muscle gain was about 3 pounds, which is about 1.4 kilos, 1.36, I think, to be exact. Okay. And that was, like I say, achieved in just 12 days, 20 minutes or so per day. That's 3 hours of training, effectively.
Of intense training.
Has achieved that result, and it equated to an average of around about 2 inches off the waist.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what drew me to it, and probably, I don't know, maybe because of my academic background, the university, having been to university, I wanted to experience something that worked, something that had a proven track record, and I did it as a client, as I say. Around about the time, interestingly enough, I was following more or less a vegan diet. I'm not vegan now, by the way, but I was vegan. I don't know.
Yeah,
vegan diet. And that was just, again, a little experiment I was doing on myself. And I'd been following that for about nine months.
Right.
And I got pretty much, I've never really been significantly overweight.
No, I can imagine you being overweight.
But I did get painfully thin.
On the vegan diet.
On the vegan diet.
Okay.
And and I don't want to put out any dispersions against veganism, but I probably wasn't following it as vegans who know what they're doing would be following it. But I did get, my experience was that I did get quite thin on the plan. So when I came into this way of training, it wasn't that I needed to lose fat per se.
Oh, okay.
But the results I achieved, thinking back now, because it's over 10 years, I know that I put on around about 5 pounds of muscle over that 12 days, which the team that I was, my trainers were quite astounded with. Said that's a really amazing result.
Yeah.
But of course, I wasn't taking in a lot of protein. That was the one thing I was missing out in my nutrition, and they corrected that with a vegan based plan that would increase my protein intake.
Okay.
So they obviously spoke about the university research study and the results. I experienced it myself and saw results.
Yeah.
I was completely sold on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Super. How do you change someone's? People that actually come to you? Do you feel there's a mental shift because they've actually come to you, that you don't have to convince them about the plan? But when you meet other people and you talk about what you do, do you know who's ready and who's not when it comes to exercising and losing weight?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question, actually. And very often people have come to me when they've tried everything else and not seen the results that they want. And it's very, very different to a lot of training philosophies out there in the fact that there is a big emphasis on the nutrition that I place, and also the fact that the sessions are very short, in 20 minutes, and that the structure of the session is very, very different. We go straight into the session. There's no specific warm up to it. We get right into it.
Oh wow, okay.
There's not a specific warm down. It really does not follow a lot of things that are out that are part of the fitness industry, if you like. So it's very, very different. But the fact that they've come to me very often, and they're in the right place psychologically to try it.
Yeah.
That's, if you like, one category of client that I get. Probably the majority that I've had, certainly up till most recently, is it's referrals, and basically the people have been referred on the basis of what someone who's experienced the program has achieved. So they've seen a change in somebody, and the conversation typically would go is like, "You look different. What have you been doing?"
Yeah.
And to cut a long story short, again, it leads on to a referral to me. And I very often get people who are friends of friends, as it were. The whole thing grew out of a group of friends that I started training. I started training this lady initially, like I said, day 3 in the country, but then she was pretty much the only person I trained for about an 8-month period. Then a trickle of friends started to come through to me, and it kind of really mushroomed when 5 of my friends, all female incidentally, started to train with me at the same time. And of course, then you've got 5 advocates of what you do.
Absolutely. They advertise your business, and yeah,
absolutely, and that's pretty much where it's grown from. I'd have to say.
Superb. I was going to ask you a question, and then it's just I've lost my train of thought. Oh no, that was it. Do you see you see a transformation in someone's appearance, physical appearance, but do you see a transformation in the way they think as well, in their mind?
Yeah. And one of the key things that I want to achieve with every single person I work with, is whereby this way of eating and training heralds a kind of a lifestyle change, and it's something that they can continue with for the rest of their life. It just becomes what they do, and this is what happened to me. I suppose I was looking for something that inspired me and engaged me after football, after playing football. It's a team sport. You have all the camaraderie that goes with that. So I found it difficult to settle into something that was just me, individual based. But when I came across this, the intensity of it, the speed of it, the fact that it is a 20-minute workout, really, really did appeal to me. And I just continued with it. And also the nutrition, the way of eating, I've just continued with it. And my belief, if you like, is that I can do it, and it can inspire me, and I can continue with it. I'm 53 now.
You're looking great.
Well, thank you. And a lot of people are surprised when they hear my age, and perhaps
I'm sure
latch on to this. Oh, black doesn't crack.
Is that what they say?
Yeah,
okay.
I hear that quite a lot. But then I'm the eldest in my family. If you looked at my brothers and sister, not to kind of like blow my own trumpet, but I look younger than them. So lifestyle and what you do plays a major part in it. And it's my belief that you can maintain a healthy, youthful appearance right into old age, as we understand it, and still be active and have that vitality and youthful vigor about you.
I'm a firm believer of that. And do you see that the generations that are getting older are more in tune with that,
totally.
and that more people are realizing the fact that if you have a healthy lifestyle, then that delays the whole aging process.
100%. And there's so many great inspirational examples out there of that. If you use Instagram and you're familiar with people like Ernestine Shepherd and people like that, worth Googling, worth looking up on Instagram. It's a woman that's in her 80s, and she's amazing. And you can even follow a little tagline like fit over 50, fit over 70 even. I saw something on Instagram just recently, a guy, I think he was in his 90s, and he was squatting 125 kg.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I totally believe in the saying that you use it or lose it. That comes down to the muscularity, the muscle you have on your body. If you're active and you use it, you keep it enervated, then you'll keep it. And it's not to say you're going to live forever, because we know that's...
we know that isn't the case at the moment.
Yeah, of course. And you can... good, I like that at the moment. But you can be... There's no reason why you need to be effectively sort of crippled and an invalid just because your number is a lot higher than somebody else's.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What's in the pipeline for you?
Well, my passion is to make this as big as it can be. What I do, spread this out to the world, if you like. I've got a belief that there is a big market for online training out there, and I think what I do does lend itself to online training. You can connect with the internet. Your market, I think, for almost any business is the entire world that has connectivity. And if you can come up with a proposition that lends itself to that, you can actually take advantage of the fact. So I want to spread, obviously I'm in Doha, I'm committed to staying here in Qatar, and to spread the word amongst the community here, and then to take it worldwide.
Fantastic. There is one more question that I want to ask. I know we're running out of time, but a lot of people, say, they can't get the right food here. Do you find that hard when you're, giving like a nutritional, balanced diet, or?
Not at all, and it's actually getting easier. Strangely enough, you could say that the blockade has in a sense helped that, because now that Qatar is looking to become self-sufficient in terms of food, there's more variety and availability that's locally grown as well, and that's a fantastic thing. So I always stress the fact that the nutrition plans, it's all natural food. There's no magic pills and potions. It's food you're going to find in the supermarkets, wherever you choose to shop.
Yeah, that's good to
You'll
hear.
be able to get what's required to follow.
And one final question. I know you're heavily involved with the BNI
Yes.
group. Why? Because, if you're getting a lot of referrals through, people that you train, why do you need to reach out to BNI?
Well, it's another, if you like, it's another source of referrals, and BNI works very much, Business Network International. It works very much on the referral basis. I just love the philosophy, the whole BNI philosophy, which is we sum it up in 2 words: givers gain, and that what goes around comes around. So if you help somebody out in terms of their business, they'll feel inclined to do the same for you. And I like the idea that we, as a group, get to know each other's business. We get to understand each other. So it's not just meeting on a weekly basis. We meet outside of the weekly meeting to really understand how each individual works. And then when we're out in going about our daily lives and having discussions about whatever, if somebody mentions a personal trainer, because they're not necessarily trained with me, but they hear me talk about my business every week, and it gets ingrained what I do and how I do it. I talk about the success stories that I have, and they're almost able to repeat that verbatim to a likely prospect. And
do the members try you out as well?
Yes, yeah.
And do the group see a transformation? And
that helps get the message across as well, and get the confidence spread throughout the group. So I've been a member for 4 years now, and I'm now involved in the launch of new chapters. We're launching a new one for the West Bay, Daphne area. Very much committed BNI member.
Excellent. So how can people get hold of you, and how can people find out more about this new BNI chapter in West Bay? Yeah,
sure. I'm, Olu Bamidele. I'm on Facebook. I've got my Instagram page, which is Mind, Body and Goals, and Instagram, Mind, Body and Goals QA page as well. You can contact me via that. Our BNI chapter, we meet every Tuesday, the chapter that I'm part of. We meet every Tuesday at the Radisson Blu from 7. We meet at 7. The meeting starts at 7:30, so it's an early start.
It's an early start.
It's an early start. And we're having briefings for the new West Bay chapter at the moment in Bread and Bagels.
Oh yeah,
Beach
very
Tower.
nice. Yeah,
I think everybody knows that. It's in the West Bay area.
Yeah.
Again, we meet early. We kind of convene around about 7. Try to start things off again at 7:30. So it mirrors a real life meeting, but it's quite informal. We're just having a coffee, talking about how it works. So it's kind of like a drop in. People could drop in. If they can't make 7 a.m. and 7:30, they can drop in. We're generally there till about 9. And I'll be there pretty much every Wednesday at Bread and Bagels Beach Tower, the Beach Tower Bread and Bagels, to give people as much information as they need about BNI and how it works. So,
nice.
So yeah.
Right. Great. Well, thank you for being my guest. It's
Thank
taken
you.
a while to get you on the show.
Absolutely.
You've always ducked and dived every time I've asked you. So,
well, from the East End of London, we're experts at ducking and diving.
Absolutely. You'll be selling me a watch after this. All right, mate. Well, take care, and wish you all the best on both sides with the business and BNI.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. Take care.